Anchors up, sells it full. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
All right, Jared, how are you doing today?
I'm not going to complain. I am not going to do it. Not going to complain. I refuse to complain. Why? Because it's football. It's September. It's September in Ohio. This is peak Ohio.
This is peak Ohio. Ohio State.
I lobbed that up there for you, and I was really hoping you were going to get it. I was really hoping you were going to get it. All right, Kyle. Bobcats. Bobcats are coming to town. Bobcats,
the biggest
Bobcats
question.
High off of a big upset.
They did, yeah. They took off their in Athens. They took down the Mountaineers of West Virginia. Yeah, big win for them. But the big question here, Jared.
Yeah.
Will the Bobcat be allowed in Ohio Stadium this year?
I mean, listen, how long ago was that?
That was 16 years ago.
Whoever that dude was isn't a student in Athens anymore. I mean, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody, but let's face reality for a moment. There's a person in there. The Bobcat's not the problem. The Bobcat is a costume. Whoever that person was the problem, not the costume. All right, we aren't arresting Chuck E. Cheese here. All right, let's. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't you ever tell me there's a person in the Brutus costume.
No,
in fact, don't even call it a costume.
It's Brutus.
It's Brutus. Bobcat, however, there's a person in there.
Brutus.
There's a person in that Bobcat costume.
Brutus. All right, let's get to know our enemy, Jared. Ohio. Ohio. One thing I hate about this game, Jared? One game I hate about this.
What's up?
It's on the Peacock. It's on the Peacock channel or streaming service at 7 o'clock this weekend.
Yeah, they got to force you to get that subscription for at least a month, right? Because if they force you to get the subscription for 1 month, then they're betting that you either keep it or, forget to turn it off, and then they get you for 2 months, maybe even 3. Don't really notice it. Then all of a sudden you've paid.
You paid for 2 months. Yep, that's how they get
a year. Because, hey, you might as well keep it through the end of the season just in case.
Just in case.
and then there's the Royal Rumble, and, now you're keeping it through January, and you're like, well, WrestleMania's not that far away.
Mm-hmm.
WWE still on Peacock? Okay. I don't remember. All right, Kyle. Bobcats. Let's start off with the Bobcats on this. I legitimately like Parker Navarro. I think he's a very good quarterback.
Tends to turn the ball over.
I mean, he's
kind of double-edged sword.
Let's keep in mind the team he plays for, and he sometimes is put into a position where he needs to make stuff happen. He still does play for the Bobcats, who, as far as max standards go, is a good team this year. I think Kyle and I were talking before we started recording, where he was telling me that, well, who was it, Kyle? One of the Michigans was less likely to upset Illinois than Ohio was to upset Ohio State.
Western Michigan.
Western Michigan. One of the directional Michigans.
One of them.
And it's just like, well, it says more about Ohio versus directional Michigan than it does Ohio State versus Illinois. Not all MAC teams are made the same, and this is an above average MAC team. That being said, it's still a MAC team. Yeah, they upset West Virginia, but Ohio State's not West Virginia.
They almost beat Rutgers in week 1, lost by 3 points.
Almost.
They almost beat Rutgers.
Almost.
And this is why Vegas has Ohio State as a 32.5 point favorite, 20 points less, or 23 points less than Ohio State versus Grambling State.
Yeah. And I believe the line opened at like 35 or 36, so it's actually even come down a bit. Which means that, a lot of money was going on Ohio.
Yeah, I guess it depends on where you looked at. Yeah. The one I was looked at, it stayed the same. Well, it's actually down to 31.5, but
depending upon
either way, we're locked at 32.5. So
yeah. And we already told you on Collegiate Chaos that we are both taking Ohio State with the points. Obviously, we both think Ohio State's going to win this game. That's not a shock. And the 32 points, I think Kyle and I are both comfortable with. But I do like this Ohio team. They would destroy Grambling.
Yeah, I think so too.
And let's take a moment and again, it's only 2 games. Granted, it's only 2 games, but they were 2 games against Power 4 opponents. Were they good Power 4 opponents? No. They weren't. West Virginia is not challenging for the Big 12 this year, and Rutgers isn't challenging for the Big 10 this year. But theoretically, they should have been outclassed. Points per game, 24-22. Yards per game, gaining 434, giving up 324. Yards per play, 6 offensively, 5.4 defensively. They're net positive in passing yards, not yards per pass, but they're positive, offensive or defense and rushing yards, running, and including yards per rush. Kyle, they're currently running 4.8 per running attempt.
That helps. That helps that with Navarro rushing the ball 27 times and averaging 6.7 per carry.
Yeah, for sure. So it's going to be one of those types of games where you're going to see the quarterback running a lot. As Kyle said, he does have a bit of a turnover issue.
Yeah, in the last game against West Virginia, he threw 3 interceptions. Which those are the only 3 turnovers for Ohio this year.
And third down percentage, Kyle, 41% offensively, which is pretty good.
That is, yeah.
Defensively, allowing only 12% conversion.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That got me kind of curious. I'm going to see if I can look it up. Kyle, look it up real quick. Like, what do you think Ohio State is for third down, for their third down conversions?
Offensively or defensively?
Actually, Ohio State's actually. Is this correct? Let me verify before I start saying things. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, that's right, because this doesn't take in consideration FCS teams.
Right. So it would only be Texas, so the numbers aren't going to look great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like their defense. I like Parker Navarro. I think Chase Hendricks is a good wide receiver. I think they have a lot to offer as a team. Are they going to beat Ohio State? No. Would they beat Texas? No. Would they be bottom half in the Big Ten? Yes. But they'd almost beat Rutgers. And they would destroy Grambling. I think that they will compete in the MAC this year. I think they're one of the I'd say one of the top 2 teams in the MAC this year. Maybe 3. But it's still the MAC. This is a pretty good MAC team. It's still a MAC team. They have an above average quarterback. They have a quarterback capable of making a lot of plays, both good and bad. But he's one of those types of guys. If you get the wrong Parker Navarro on any given Saturday, you might be in trouble. Unless you're Ohio State, in which case you'll probably be fine. But if you're West Virginia and you get the wrong Parker Navarro, you're in trouble. And even if Parker Navarro isn't necessarily, if you get the wrong Parker Navarro, it's still going to cause some frustration for Ohio State fans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that Ohio is going to beat Ohio State. That's just not going to happen. Kyle, we talked about this in the Discord server today. When was the last time a MAC school beat Ohio State?
Trick question.
It's a trick question.
It is a trick question. A MAC school.
Yeah.
A team that was in the MAC at the time.
Yeah.
0.
They have never. It has never happened. Yes. Now, that being said, Ohio State has lost to Akron like over 100 years ago, back in 1890 something. But
and they weren't called Akron.
They weren't even called Akron yet. There was no MAC. And of course, Akron wouldn't even join the MAC until 1994 or something like that. 92, 93. It was during that big upheaval. Point is that it's technically never happened.
Yeah.
Along those same lines, Ohio State did lose to Cincinnati at one point, and Cincinnati was in the MAC at one point. So,
but not at the time. Though.
No,
and that's where there was kind of yeah.
So that's Ohio State's never lost to a MAC school, and it's not going to change on Saturday.
Nope.
But I do like Ohio for a MAC school. That's what this boils down to. I like Parker Navarro. I like their defense. Jack Fries, good pair of linebackers with Fries and Molnar. Adonis Williams Jr. is a good safety. I like this
their
team.
Their linebackers are seniors and graduates too, so they got a lot of experience with their linebackers.
Again, very good MAC school.
Yep.
But a MAC school.
Ohio State is pretty much the same offensive third down percentage as Ohio. It's like right around that. It was like 41.7%, somewhere around there.
Basically the same.
Defensively, it's 17.8%.
Is that with?
Yep.
Okay.
That is with. Because if you don't take that, if you just do just the one game, Ohio State is just 25% third down conversion. And I think they're lighting up 45% on third down.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to say on Ohio, or do you want to move on to the second half of the show?
Don't be surprised if Ohio does score here. Don't be surprised, like if they score once, twice. I think Ohio State's going to be able to score a lot of points. Like Ohio's not going to be able to keep up with points, but if and when Ohio does score, like don't fret, don't be like, I can't believe we let up points against a MAC school. It's okay.
It'll be fine.
It's okay if they score some points.
Everything will be okay.
Yep.
Anything else before we move on to the second half of the show?
No, I think that's good. We'll go ahead and take our ad break here. TheSloopcast.com is your go-to link for everything Sloopcast related. There you can find a lot of our links, such as our YouTube page, our Discord, Patreon, our merch store, 7071, and much, much more. You can find all of those links and more over at thesloopcast.com. So we'll go ahead and take our ad break and be right back for some Sloop Stairs.
All right, Kyle.
All right, Jared.
I just need something to intro back into the show. Ohio State player to watch. Who do you have?
I'm just going to go out of left field just because I think it was just a hot topic for everybody to talk about just because of how well he did in his first game. And honestly, I don't think there really is a player to watch in here because I think we're going to still see a lot of Buckeye players playing in this game here. Not as much as Grambling State, but a lot still. I just have a hunch that we may see more of our shiny freshman running back here, Bo Jackson.
All right, that is a bit out of left field. I'm going to stay right in center. I'm going to stay directly in center field. I'm going Julian Sayin here. I still think Ohio State's season-long fortunes are very much tied to Julian Sayin. I think he still, to me, is the biggest question mark on the team. I saw flashes of what I wanted to see against Texas. He obviously looked great against Grambling, but Grambling, at times it was like just playing catch against no defense at all. He did, of course, throw an interception in that game. But it'll be nice to see him somewhere in between, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go from this great Texas defense to an FCS school, and now I get to see him somewhere in between those two things. So I think it'll be really interesting to watch Julian Sayin in this game.
Sure. All right, enemy player to watch here. I think the obvious answer is Parker Navarro.
Yeah.
The team's only going to succeed for how well he does. Very accurate passing the ball. I don't think we covered that part. Very accurate. 69, nice 0.4% completion for the year so far for Navarro. But also rushed the ball 27 times for 180 yards and a tutty as well. Did mention like he has thrown 3 interceptions in the last game against West Virginia. But yeah, it's Navarro. My pick is Navarro, but I think the other pick you could possibly pick is maybe their standout receiver, Chase Hendricks, who already has 17 catches already for the year in 2 games. So that could be another person on the offensive side that you could pick as well.
Key matchup.
Well, who do you got for your enemy player to watch, Jared?
Oh, no, I just agreed with you. It's Parker Navarro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Key matchup. I'd say it's Navarro versus versus Ohio State linebackers. You got to keep Navarro contained here.
He's a runner.
He is a runner. He's a very, very mobile quarterback. He's going to try to make players miss here. So being able to contain Navarro. So it is Navarro versus the duo linebackers of Ohio State.
I have a very similar answer. Yes, a dual threat. Very similar answer. I'm going to say the defensive ends against Parker Navarro. You got to keep containment. You got to get some sacks. You got to create pressure. So we're on the same wavelength there, but a slightly different take.
Okay. Fair enough.
I am more afraid, not, and this is not to knock Navarro as a thrower of the ball. It's that I really like Ohio State's defensive backs against Ohio's wide receivers, and a scrambler is just such a wild card. So specifically in regards to Ohio State, I'm more afraid of his legs than his arm.
Mm-hmm. Right. Fair enough. 32.5 points is the spread that locked in here. Some have it down to 31.5, 33.5, but we locked it at 32.5. If you listen to our episode from yesterday, Jared and I have already hinted at who we picked here. We actually not really hinted, but we did say who we picked here, and it is the team in scarlet and gray. It is the 11 Warriors.
Brave and bold.
Brave and bold. Thank you, Jared.
Yes.
I was hoping you would finish that.
Okay. I didn't know if you were waiting on me or if you brain farted.
I was tossing it up to you, Jared.
Okay. All right. Yeah. 32.5 points is not enough.
Agreed.
All right. Obviously, if we're taking Ohio State with the points, we're also taking Ohio State to win. So that's the winner pick. Kyle, do you have a final score?
I have Ohio State with the score 45-7.
I'm getting 49-7. I think Ryan Day's done with field goals. I think if he can choose not to kick a field goal, he's going to choose not to kick a field goal.
Yep.
So I'm going to go 49.
49-7, 45-7, and Austin says 48-3. All right.
New Year's Eve 2023 fucked him up, and that's fair. Honestly, fuck field goals. This isn't the NFL. Go get touchdowns.
All right, quickly here. We're gonna do some Austin, since Austin's in the chat here. Some Austin over unders real quick here, Jared.
Yeah.
First off, Navarro total yards 204.5 yards over.
So this is going to be passing.
I'm not even hesitating.
Yeah, this is going to be passing
total
and
yards.
running over.
Over. I'm not hesitating on that.
No.
It is over. Ohio State sacks given up.
The one thing that can screw us up on that first one is if he gets like popped and hurt. But
sure,
regardless.
Yeah. Sacks given up 1.5. I mean,
under.
I'll take the under from what I've seen so far here, Jared. Under. All right. Bangura, which is their running back that we didn't even talk about, 36 attempts, 152 yards, and a touchdown for the year. Mm-hmm. He has yards per carry at 3.37, which that is a concern that we've talked about in our Scarlet and Grade episode of Ohio State. Letting up some yards per carry is a little bit higher than we would want. Can Ohio State lower that in this game here? 3.37 yards. What say you, Jared?
The team will go over that, but Bangura won't.
I agree.
Navarro
I think it's going to be under as well.
I
think Navarro would probably get close to 5 And I'm going to be honest. I think he'll get like right around 5 yards a carry. Jackson. I just talked about him before you joined, Austin. Bo Jackson. 6.5 carries. If I have him for my player to watch here, he's got to get over on that one for me.
I think he earned some extra carries last week. This of course totally depends upon how quickly Ohio State goes up in this game, which goes back to my player to watch for Ohio State, which is, if we get the same sort of consistency, out of saying that we got last week or close to it, the expectation can't be that he goes 17 for 17 to start the game. But you know what I'm saying? If we get something close to that sort of consistency and the game gets over real quick, we'll see it at least 6 from Jackson.
All right, fair enough. All right, Styles and Downs. Tackles at 10.5.
So
Styles.
This should be an easy over. The concern, of course, is what happens if the game gets out of control super quickly and neither of them play all that much? What if Ohio doesn't get all that many snaps? But this is Ohio. This isn't Grambling. While I do think we see the backups in this game, it won't be at halftime. It's not going to be right at the start of the second half. And I do think they're going to get more first downs than Ohio State fans are comfortable with. Again, because I think Navarro's that sort of dynamic. I'm going to go over on this.
I'm kind of torn on this because I mean, if you try to look at the numbers, it's very misleading just because they didn't get to be on the field as much in the last game. But if you take consideration of the Texas game, well, look at that. They combined for 10 tackles. I see what you did there, Austin. Yeah, I'll go over. I'll go over as well for this one too.
Navarro can actually complete passes, though.
Yes. Dare I say the most accurate passer Ohio State will have faced to date?
Yeah.
All right. Sand completion percentage at 71.5%, which he is currently at 79.5%. It's amazing what going 18 for 19 will do for you. I got to go under. I'll go under with that one. Like 71 is a lot. I know he was super accurate against Grambling last weekend, but with all the missed catches, though, you could look at with the Texas game too, and you could say, look, he could have been like at 75% for that one too.
Yeah,
but 71% that's a really high number for me. I'll take the odds and say under.
It feels crazy to say over, yet here I go.
All right. And last one, Jared, we have. All right. We got JJ, Carnell, Ennis, and Claire.
Yeah.
Receiving yards at 211.5 yards combined.
Yeah. Again, I don't feel like this is a game in which you're going to see the starters pulled at halftime, which makes this number very achievable. So I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I was looking at, again, just it's very limited on what you have to take in consideration for last weekend, but 224 yards for those four against Grambling last weekend there. So I'll say over. I say over as well. I think that they'll see the field a lot more than they did last weekend. Give them more opportunities for more catches, more yards. Yeah, I'll go over.
Kyle, the say incompletion percentage is the only one of those we differed on.
It is.
Yeah. That kind of sucks, just from a podcasting perspective, but it's an honest assessment.
What we've always said in the 10 years that we've always done this, Jared. We'll do better next time.
Oh, Austin brings up a really good point, though. We are currently tied for the season.
Mm-hmm.
So we will have a leader. Based purely off of completion percentage, one of us will be in the lead when we do this again next week.
I do have a question for you, Austin. I know we're over on time here, but I do have a question. What if his percentage is exactly 71.51%?
That would be difficult. That would be mathematically difficult. That would be... All right. Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
Do I have anything in Kyle's corner? I don't want to talk a lot about it just because we'd be here for a long time, but NCAA talking about proposing the transfer portal, just having one portal, which I'm all for. But in the middle of the playoffs, though, in like early mid-January, I'm not a fan of that. And neither is Coach Day. Coach Day isn't a fan of that either.
Yeah, that's dumb. Also, I like the post-spring portal. Like, I understand why coaches wouldn't want it, but I think it's good for the players to have a post-spring portal. I think they can get a really good assessment on where they stand with the team, and if their standing with the team isn't where they need it to be to further their careers, then they can go elsewhere. I understand again why the coaches would love that, but I'm more inclined to sympathize with the players than the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, anything else?
Buckeyes in the NFL had a great opening weekend as well. I know a lot of attention on the wide receivers who had like almost 500 yards combined in the NFL in week one there. Yeah, it was a great weekend from Ibuka with the game-winning catch for New Orleans to Nick Bosa with the strip sack to seal it for San Francisco too. It was a good weekend for Buckeye alumni.
Yeah, especially the wide receivers.
Especially wide receivers, yeah. All right, that's it.
That's it. Tonight's ending music brought to you by an artist called Ghost Stories. The name of this song is Blur. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is Ghost Stories.